Alright, so this is going to be project number 4 for Excel. So for this particular project, you're going to learn how to set up a drop-down list of items from a database, and we're going to set up that database in a hidden sheet in Excel. And so what we're going to do is put our data in that sheet and then hide that sheet. Okay, and then you can set up a macro to read and process the item selected by the user from the drop-down list, and then use that information using the information from the database, and so you can calculate all sorts of things from that. So what we're going to do specifically is we're going to do a database of critical constants for several substances. We're going to put that in sheet number 2. And we're going to look up our data from the I don't know how to pronounce this correctly, Laby or Labby, online website at the UK's National Physical Laboratory. Okay, that's the equivalent of the NIST, I would assume. That's not lady, that's Laby. So, Laby. A drop-down list that will allow the user to select a substance from that database, and then we're going to create a macro that will look up the critical pressure, temperature, and volume for that substance that was selected, and then show those results on sheet 1. And then after that, you're going to calculate the van der Waals parameters and the Boyle temperature for that gas, also display that on sheet 1. Okay, so let's start off by opening our spreadsheet. I already have it open here. Did I start recording?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Okay. So what I need to do is sheet 2 over here. This is where I'm going to put the data. Alright, so let's Google K and Laby online. And you'll find it right there at NPL National Physical Laboratory.co. I think that's their .com at the UK, and then .co.uk.
So the UK put up their websites.
Okay, so .co. So go to the table of contents. There's a lot of information here that's very useful. So let's go to chemistry. And under chemistry, look for critical constants and second Boyle coefficients of gases. Okay? Oh, they even have thermochemical data. Okay. So now under that, right here, you can see critical constants and second Boyle coefficients of gases. We're just going to be interested in the critical pressure, which is given here in megapascals. The critical volume, which is given molar critical volume, which is given here in cubic centimeters per mole, so that's milliliters per mole. And you have your temperature in Kelvin, critical temperature in Kelvin. Okay. These other coefficients here, they are used to calculate the second Boyle coefficient. We'll just ignore those for now. For our purposes, we'll just be interested in the critical point. So we're just gonna pick up the first 5 compounds. So I'm just gonna create this, highlight these. These are all I really need. I'm gonna get those extra stuff there, but it's okay. So I'm sorry. The link. The last link, critical constants and second Boyle coefficients of gases. Section 3.5. Okay. And then you scroll down. So I'm going to pick ammonia, argon, bromine, carbon dioxide, and carbon disulfide. I'm really just interested in the critical point data, so I'm just going to select the first 3 columns. Although I can't do anything about the other columns, I'll just have to delete them later. So right click, copy. I'm going to put them in Excel in sheet number 2. Okay, so right there. So now I have to get rid of the other columns, right? So just highlight, just drag click on one of the column headers and just drag to the right and then hit delete. Now we'll get rid of those. So all your data, okay, so your substance name is in column A. Okay, and column B is empty, so let me get rid of column B. Oops, what did I just do? Undo. Okay, B, and for some reason column B and C are merged. So anytime you have merged cells and you want to get rid of the merging, all you have to do is select those cells, right click, copy, and then paste again to exactly the same location. And now B and C have been unmerged. So all the data that used to be in the merged cell are now in the first column. So I'm just going to get rid of column C here. Okay? Yeah.
Paste it as plain text, it doesn't come up with
If you paste it as plain text, okay. Sometimes it depends on how the website is coded. So it will. Alright, so now let's put some headers here just so we remember what these things are. So what is this? This is PC in megapascals, right? And this is one of these things I hate about Office is they tries to fix your capitalization. You can set that to in your options if you hate that. This second one is critical vol. What are those data? Critical volumes, the second number. So VC, this is going to be mils per mole. And the third column is critical temperature, so TC in Kelvin, right? And for consistency, I'm going to use the slash to specify the units. And this is mils per mole. Alright, so I have my data in sheet number 2, and I don't need sheet number 3 for this activity, so I'm just going to delete sheet number 3. So right down here, hover over sheet 3, delete, and then I'm going to make sheet 2 hidden, so I'm going to right click on hide it, right? Right click and then hide. But let's leave it open for now, we can hide that later. If you've already hidden it, how can you make it visible again? View, just undo. Okay.
Mine doesn't allow that.
There should be a hide show thing. Okay, let me pause this so I can figure out where it is. Alright, so if you've already hidden it, you can just right click on one of the sheets and then click unhide, and you can unhide, select the sheet to unhide. Okay, so right click, hide, right click, unhide. Okay, so let's go back to sheet 1, and what we're going to do is we are going to set up a pull down list on sheet 1. But before we do that, let's just set up a macro first that would actually read our data from the pull down menu. So what we're going to do is we're going to say select your substance, okay, and we're going to put the selection here in cell B, okay. So line it up there. I'm going to put some arrows there, greater than signs. Okay, so we're going to put our selection there. And the way you can do a pull down box is you go to developer, and remember, like I said, if you don't have that, you have to go back to your options to make that visible in your ribbon, right? So view, view, options, and then customize ribbon, make sure that developer thing is checked. So you click on developer, and then you can insert a pull down, this thing right here, combo box form control. Yeah, that combo box form control should work. Okay, so and then you click anywhere where you can insert. Oh, that's huge.
Big button.
Okay, and then adjust it. You can adjust it to match the size of column B. You can put it in column B. Alright, so let's I meant to do a macro first, right? Never mind. This is fine. Alright, so this is your pull down box. Okay. And what we're gonna do is right click on it. Oops. clicking on it doesn't do anything. Right click on it, you can format that control. So that pull down box is called a control. Format your control, and then you tell it where the input range is. Where does it pick up its list of items for the user to select? So just click on this one right here. Okay, for your input range, so select the input range. It's going to be in sheet number 2, and it's column A. So A2 to A6. Alright, and bring up the menu. And then the cell link, this is the cell where you want it to put the selected item. So where would you want to put the selected item? You want to put it in cell B1. Okay? And so if I hit OK, this is what I'll see. So if I pull down this menu right here, ammonia, argon, bromine, carbon dioxide, and carbon disulfide. Okay, it puts the number. Okay, it's put the item number. Item number 1 is ammonia. Item number 2 is argon, bromine. Yes. Which part? Oh, okay. So what you do here, when you have that there, you right click on it. Okay, right click, and then you should say format control, and then input range. Okay, and then this input range, you click on it, and then you select the range of where you would be getting those numbers from, those options, those items from. And then you click on the link, the cell where you want to put the results in, and I've selected B1. Okay, so looks like it doesn't actually give me what I was selecting, it just gives me the sequence, right? So it's the third item. So I need to fix that with a macro, right? I need to fix that with a macro. Unless I hide that selection somewhere, and then I'll have a macro put the results there. So let's put that somewhere else. Let's put that maybe in cell. Let's just keep it there. And what we can do, is we can put right next to it what the actual name of the compound is. Okay? So, or the substance. You got it? Or what you can do is you can hide it. So right click on it, and now you can move it. So it will cover that number 3 right there. Right there. Okay? So it will still be there. It's just your selection is going to be there, but it's just hidden. Okay? See, that's card number 4. You got it? So pull down bromine. Bromine is number 3. And if you're bothered by that number 3, like I said, you can just cover it. So just move that so it's covered. You got it? Okay, so now that we have set up our drop-down list, we've selected the item, what we can do is we can go to create a macro for it. Okay, so you right click on that form again, and then assign a macro to it. Okay, and it will suggest a name for you. By default, the macro is going to be called drop-down 1. So this is your first drop-down list in your spreadsheet that you created. So it's called drop-down 1 underscore change. You can accept that, or you can give it any other name you want. Okay, so let's just accept that, and let's hit new. Or do you want something else? Let's just accept that, and then hit new. And now you can edit that. What should that macro do if somebody clicks on it and changes the item? Okay, so we need to read from sheet number 2, right? So let's just say, or you can just say message box first. Let's just confirm what was selected. So message box, you selected item number. You may want to fix this and remove this later, but this is just while we're building the program. So item number, what would be cells? Where is it at? Column 1, row 1, column 4. This is column 3. This is it's in B, cell B1, so that's row 1, column 2, right? So let's go back to our macro. In cell 1, row 1, column 2, cells, and then row 1, column 2. Let's see if that works. And so if I click on it, you selected item number 2. Okay? I pick carbon disulfide. What item would that be? Item number 5, right? Ammonia, selected item number 1. Okay, so it's working. So let's do, what else can we do? Now that we've identified what was selected. So we can say item selected is equal to cells 1, 2, right? Now, where is that item located? If it's item number 1, if you look at your sheet number 2, look at your sheet number 2. If it's item number 1, it's actually in row 2, right? If it's item number 2, it's in row 3. If it's item number 4, it's number 3, it's in row 4. So we add 1 to the item number, we'll find the row, right? So let's do that. So the row location is item selected plus 1. Okay? And now the name, substance selected. So substance is going to be what? The entry in sheet number 2, so sheet 2 dot cells, open parenthesis, row location, comma, and column 1, right? So the name of the substance is in sheet number 2, cell, whatever row that is, column 1. And now let's verify that message box. You selected substance. Okay. So you say okay. The substance you selected is. Let's see if that works. So I can go back here, view. I go back to sheet 1. Carbon dioxide, selected item number 4. The substance you selected is carbon dioxide. Okay? Pick another one, argon. You selected item number 2. The substance you selected is argon. Now all those extra dots, that's just because you have those extra dots in your data column. Okay? So we are going to put now critical pressure, and I'd like for you to figure that out in atmosphere, critical temperature in Kelvin, so that you just echo that, and critical volume in critical temperature. Let's start with critical volume here. So it's going to be mils per mole. Let's change that to liters per mole to make it more work for you. And critical volume, temperature would be in Kelvin. Okay, so I'm going to make this flush with the right side. So what am I going to do now? I'm going to put my critical pressure in cell B3. So what should I do? Now let me just do critical temperature. It's going to be in cell B5. So row 5, column 2. So go back to this, I can say sheet 2, cells, row 5, column 2, right? I'm in sheet 1. So I don't have to say sheet 1. I can just say cells. Row 5, column 2 is my temperature. Where am I going to look for that in my database? It's in sheet 2, cells, row location, comma. Which column is it in? Is it column 4? Let's go back to our sheet 2. You'll find that, okay, critical temperature is in column 4. Okay, so that's where you're going to look up, and you know which row it belongs to, right? So, okay, that's what happens. All right, so let's verify, see if it's correct. I picked bromine. Item number 3, I selected bromine, and it's 588. And is it 588? Bromine critical temperature is 588. Okay, so that's pretty much the only new skill you need to you need to learn to complete this project. So what I'd like for you to do to finish up this project is to just enter calculate the van der Waals, finish up this critical pressure and volume right here, and then van der Waals parameters A and B, and I want to put units here, okay, and the critical Boyle temperature. And put your units here. Okay, so that's what you need to do to finish up this project. And then for your extra work, once you've done that, there's a few things you can do. You can write a similar program that would look up constants you need to calculate molar heat capacity from the NIST webbook to calculate Q when the user specifies a temperature range. Okay, and so let's just verify where you can find that. If you go to webbook.nist.gov, for example, if you are going to, so NIST chemistry webbook. So for example, if you want to look for BR2, okay, oops, have to specify gas phase. I'm sorry? Yeah, the extra project is just extra credit. But you need to turn this one in, the one for the van der Waals. What I'm going to do for the rest of the semester, remember we have several of those. In the last activity there's so many different ways you can submit that project. I'll give you a chance to make up whatever points you've been missing from the bonus using those, what do you call it, by creating more of those types of documents. Okay, so if you do gas phase for bromine, for example, it's taking a while. Right here's the heat capacity. Okay, Showmate equation, A, B, C, D, E. Those are the constants down here, and this is the temperature range where it's valid. So pick 4 or 5 different substances where you can look up these A values are already tabulated in a hidden sheet in your Excel spreadsheet. And then if the user specifies a temperature range, then you'll be able to calculate Q. All right. So this extra work right here, that's just going to be extra credit. But what I need for you just to get credit for this work would be just to complete this project with the van der Waals. Okay? So that's it.